Okay, so we're going to follow a series of steps here. Now in your exam paper answer you wouldn't do this, but I'm just trying to clearly illustrate what's going on. So step number 1, identify the linear equation, then rearrange the equation to get x on its own or y on its own. So isolate x or y, solve for x and y, whatever you want to think of it. So up here, identify the linear equation. As I was telling you in the first video, the power of x, the highest power of x and y will be 1. So that is the linear equation. 2x plus y equals 5, and that then what we're going to do is we're going to solve for x or y. Now the one that's the easiest here is y all day long because it's got a 1 in front of it. Path of least resistance. I'm going to subtract 2x on this side, and I'm going to subtract 2x on this side, and so subtracting 2x on this side I get left with y, subtracting 2x on this side I get 5 minus 2x. So there is step 1 done. Step number, and that's telling you, hint, first use 2x plus y equals 5 to write y in terms of x. That was the hint that it gave you, write y in terms of x. So, what we've got here now, moving on, step 1 complete, here and there your exam paper solution, you'd write that. Okay, so now moving on here, we've got step number 2. Substitute what you got in step 1 into the non-linear equation. So you now have like a translation. You can swap this in instead of y. So there is the non-linear equation is x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. You go and instead of y, you're going to swap in 5 minus 2x. You're going to substitute in, and as Tommy Cooper would say, so just like that. So there's y, and substitute instead of y, 5 minus 2x. Very simply, just sub it in there. So that's still x squared plus 5 minus 2x squared equals 25. And now you've allowed yourself a chance to solve this because you've only got one unknown. So that's step 2 complete. Step number 3, exam paper solution. So you'll be x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. And then the translation that you got here, you just swap it in for 5 minus 2x instead of where y is. So that's step number 2 complete. Step number 3, remove the brackets. So to remove the brackets here on the 5 minus 2x to be squared, this is what we're going to do. We're going to identify first of all the first. The first is 5 inside the brackets. The last is minus 2x. There we go, lovely jubbly. So now we just remember this rule. We square the first. So that's 5 to be squared. The first, square the first. 5 by 5 is 25. We square the last. The last is minus 2x. Be careful here. That's minus 2x by minus 2x. Minus by minus is plus. 2 by 2 is 4. And x by x is x squared. And then we have this fella. This is the trickiest bit to remember. Twice the first times the last. You just work out twice the first. 2 times 5 is 10. Times the last, which is minus 2x. Be careful. Plus by minus is minus. 10 by 2 is 20. And 10 by 2x is 20x. So there it is all worked out. Square the first, 25. Square the last, 4x squared. Twice the first times the last. 2 times the first times the last. So, doing this out here. This is now in your exam paper. Square the first. 5 squared is 25. Square the last. Be careful. Minus by minus is plus. 2 by 2 is 4. X by x is x squared. 2 times the first. 2 times 5 is 10. Times the last by minus 2x. Plus by minus is minus, 10 by 2 is 20, 10 by 2x is 20x, so minus 20x, equals 25. So that is removing the brackets, that's step 3 complete. We move on to step, and in your exam paper here, you'd have it down like this, and you'd write down square the first, 25, square the last, plus 4x squared. Remember, square and minus 2x, minus by minus is plus, 2 by 2 is 4, x by x is x squared. 2 times the first, 2 times 5 is 10, times the last, times minus 2x, gives you minus 20x, and that's that. So that's step number 3 complete. Step number 4, simplify. So we've got, I'm going to go with the x squared first, and you have here an x squared plus 4x squared. You add the two of them together, you get 5x squared. Then you have a minus 20x, then you have a plus 25, and on the right hand side you have a 25. So you're still not fully completed simplifying though. You've got a 25 on the right. I'm going to take that 25 from the right, Going to leave me with 0. I'm going to take 25 from the left, and I'm going to be left with 5x squared minus 20x. That is step number 4. In terms of your exam paper solution, x squared plus 4x squared is 5x squared minus 20x, and take away 25 from this side, take away 25 from this side, you're just left with 5x squared minus 20x is equal to 0. So now we're up to step 5. If applicable, divide across by the highest common factor. So you might get a quadratic equation that is not divisible by a highest common factor, does not have a highest common factor, and if that's the case, you have to skip step 5. However, here, do we have something in common that will divide into 5 and divide into 20? Well, the factors of 5, 1 by 5, factors of 20, 1 by 20, 2 by 10, 4 by 5. You can see there the factors of 5 are 1 and 5, factors of 20 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20. Anything in common? 1 is in common, but anything higher? We have a 5 in common. So we divide across by 5. Divide by 5, we get x squared. Divide by 5, we get minus 4x. Lovely jubbly, that's step number 5. And here in your exam paper again, bring this, dividing by 5, you get x squared. Dividing by 5, you get minus 4. Just be careful, 20 divided by 5 is 4, but it's a minus 20. So that's divided by 5, you get minus 4. So that's step number 5. Step number 6, factorize. So what do you always check for first when you factorize? You always check for a highest common factor. And if I'm looking here between these two terms, x squared and minus 4x, I can see there's an x in common. Factorize out that sham. So remember, x squared divided by x, it leaves you with x, and minus 4x divided by x leaves you a minus 4. So there it is factorized. Again, in your exam paper solution, brilliant, done. So now the last part, or step number 7, not the last part, solve the equation. So you have to solve it. So I'm going to start with the easy one first. Not the easy one, but remember this, just before we're on. I am multiplying this by this, and I'm getting an answer of 0. When you multiply two things together, and you get an answer of 0, it means either this one must be 0, or it means that this one is 0. So I ask you, what do you make x here to make this part inside 0? So if x is 4, 4 minus 4 is 0. So this one, x has to be 4. And that's step number 7, solve the equation. Again, in your exam paper, two things multiplied together, you get an answer of 0. That means that one of them must be, one or both must be 0. So x is 0, or to make this 0 in here inside the bracket, this has to be 4. 4 minus 4 is 0, so x must be 4. Step number 8, final step. We have found x values. Now we must find the corresponding y values. Use our t over here. So we think back to our original equation. Y is equal to 5 minus 2x. That'd make it really easy to just find out what y is. So we need to sub in when x is 0 and when x is 4. So our two equations here, y is equal to 5 minus 2 times whatever x is. You can see it's 0. And let's tidy that up. We're going to get y is equal to 5. And our first coordinate, or sorry, we'll come back to that in a second. Over here, y is equal to 5 minus 2 times whatever our input is. Our input is 4, x is 4. Sub that in, and you get your calculator there, or work that out. Minus 2 times 4 is minus 8. 5 minus 8 is minus 3. So now we have that bit worked out. Right, that is step number 8. I thought it was it, maybe there's one more step. Then finally, the last thing here, step number 9, write the coordinate pairings. So remember, x comes before y. So this, when x is 0, y is 5. And when x is 4, y is minus 3. And there are your coordinate pairings. And that is the solution to the question. But me being me, I like showing why this works. Just remember, on your exam paper, that's what you'd have there. So I want to show you why this works. What do we find and what does it mean? 0, 5 and 4 minus 3. So basically, you had a circle, a non-linear equation, which was x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. You also had a line here, 2x plus y, what was it called? 2x plus y is equal to 5. Up here, the green line. So you can see here that where they intersect is 0, 5 and 4 minus 3. And you've just, that is what you have done when you've done that question. One further part, so you have identified the exact geometric coordinates where the straight line intersects the curve in the Cartesian plane. Just to make 100% sure, you're not asked this, but in case you ever were, if you were asked to verify your solution, just sub it in for both of them. So that's using 0, 5. You can see the left hand side is equal to the right hand side, the left hand side equals the right hand side, so it satisfies both equations. So that works for that coordinate. What about 4 minus 3? We sub that in, we see that we get the left hand side equals the right hand side, and again it must work simultaneously, it must work in both equations. So again, it satisfies the equation, left hand side is equal to the right hand side, and therefore we're cooking. That's enough for that video. Adios.